I sure hope you enjoyed the 2 videos I've done so far for indie developers who've contacted me to show off an early preview of their game, because we're running it a third! Colossus Eternal Blight, by the 6-person team known as Rustic Panda Games, has a Kickstarter beginning on May 28th, which, if all goes according to plan, should be the day this video goes up. They described it to me as Hyperlight Drifter meets JRPG. Action combat that focuses on precision over speed. 3 classes with different skill trees so you can focus on just one or form a hybrid, puzzles reminiscent of the Zelda series, and a larger focus on story. But the thing that was on the Steam and Kickstarter pages that really hooked me was that the story grapples with the force called the Blight, which also affects people's behavior, and you can save them if you see the signs in time. You can also choose to harness the Blight yourself to gain incredible power, but coming at its own cost. And who you're able to save from the Blight, who falls victim, and if you fall victim, all changes the world. Now, I'll let you know up front, the demo doesn't get to the part where this all intertwines with the gameplay yet, but I think that's okay, because this first hour and a half or so does a wonderful job of showing how the core gameplay is still fun even without all that. The Hyperlight Drifter comparisons are pretty apt. You have a dash, a parry, a sword, and some spells, but there's a few specific differences that make it stand out. The pace is overall a little slower than Hyperlight, which I think I prefer, to be honest. In the little bit of Hyperlight I've played so far, it feels like things are just going too fast for me to actually process what's happening. It makes it that little bit easier to find this interesting flow state. You dodge the things coming at you, weave in attacks where you can, parry if you have to. It's kind of awesome. This game also has chain dashes where if you have good timing, you can chain dashes together in a row over and over again. It's both a form of traversing the world quickly and a way to reposition in combat. The end of the dash lags a lot, but being able to cancel that end lag into a dash strike or a chain dash makes it feel nice and responsive. Then there's the spells that I found kind of difficult to weave into my combat combos, but are all definitely powerful and reward you for finding moments to sneak them in. The parry timing is pretty tight. You have to time it well, but it also makes it really satisfying to pull off. The boss was a really big showcase of that. I pretty much only tried to parry it, which led to me dying a lot. I probably could have tried dodging more, but it's the way I chose to do it, I guess. Speaking of the boss, I found myself often not paying attention to my health bar and dying when I had plenty of potions left. So while you can just kind of go crazy and not worry too much against these weaker enemies, the big ones are really scary, and you gotta pay attention to that health bar so you don't just bite the dust. The build crafting only gets started in this demo with just the first class, and I'm excited for them to introduce the other 2 classes so they can show us the ways in which you're able to mix and match the 3 of them for unique builds. Then there's the puzzles, very clearly Zelda inspired. They start out extremely simple, but slowly get more involved as the demo continues. And with that being the case, I'm really intrigued as to where the full game takes it, because in my opinion, a lot of Zelda puzzles failed to find the middle ground between that was way too simple and how was I supposed to figure that out. There were a few puzzles and even optional secrets where you have to go across multiple different areas and find the information you need. There was one that was clearly optional. The game didn't point me in that direction at all. I just kind of stumbled upon some information I didn't even realize was a clue at the time. Later, I found where the clue was applicable and I put it together myself and I just got some extra treasure out of it. It wasn't necessary for story progression, it was just a thing they threw in there. All in all, this demo is very much the building blocks of what's to come. And while this foundation isn't anything overly flashy quite yet, it's very solid and gets me excited for the future of the game. But all of that isn't really even the main event, because the big selling point is how the gameplay ties into the story. And once again, nothing flashy, but definitely solid. They spend this time building up little aspects of Lucian's relationship with his brother, establishing both how they care about each other and their conflict as well, while also building up little pieces of the world here and there. The 3 goddesses are a big part, they mention a few of the different kingdoms or locations, stuff like that. You might call it a slow start, but I don't think it's even that, because it's paced nicely enough. A game like Persona 5 has a slow start. But this is more of a game that just rewards you for being a little patient. I'm not fully sure how to express the difference between these things, so I'm just gonna move on for now, but hopefully you understand what I mean. The demo doesn't get us to the point where the Blight and corruption is this omnipresent threat that it looks like it'll be in the final product. It actually seems like that's gonna begin right at the point where the demo leaves off, which for me was at around 90 minutes. But what I'm really excited about is that all of these miscellaneous NPCs in town that could have just been generic goobers are actually given names. And it's really cool to think that in the full game, any of these people could be getting blighted throughout the narrative and you can try to save them. It makes me think of Unsighted. It's this kind of niche indie Metroidvania, but if you are a fan of Unsighted, definitely keep an eye on Colossus. Lastly, I want to give a special shout out to the presentation because I do quite like it. The bright colors of the style make it stand out from something like Hyperlight Drifter, and the characters having thin outlines or even no outlines makes it stand out also from things like Crosscode. I like the character designs too, especially for the protagonist Lucian. Honestly, gaming could use more feminine men protagonists, which I know sounds like a roundabout way of me just saying give us more femboys, but you know what? Honestly, yeah, give us more femboys. The music was really solid too. The forest track is calming and lets me just loosen the tension in my hands as I'm playing. The boss battle music really got me into the action. Those are just a couple of the examples. I like the music, basically. But even more worth applauding, in my opinion, is the general sound design. Just with the sounds of combat and the dashes, it might seem like a really small thing to compliment, but I just think it's really good here. I think it's the part that made it really fun for me to just cut the grass. That sounds silly, I know, but the swing of the sword, the cutting sound as it hits, I don't know, man. I was going out of my way to cut the grass, not because I needed more coins from it, but I just wanted to cut the grass. So my conclusion is, if you like action RPGs or games that blend the story and narrative together, this is looking to be something up your alley. And even if it isn't, I'd encourage you to share the Kickstarter and this video around so then it can find its audience. I have some small issues with the demo, a few little details about the controls and the writing, but I've actually brought them up with one of the devs by now, so it'll be in their list of feedback to address. And you should feel free to try the demo too, and talk to them in Discord and stuff. Just from what I've seen, they seem pretty cool. It's been a pleasure to direct more people to these indie games. The Diorama Break Kickstarter has reached its main goal by now, and the thought that I had a hand in helping to make that happen is just so... I want to find a word other than joy to describe it, because it feels like so much more than that to me. I'd love to be able to do it more, so if you have a game you're making, you want to share it, send it my way, and you know, maybe watch all my videos, and if you can, give me money if you want. No pressure. I've got medical bills, man.